Okay, coming off a bye week, like I said before, really good time for us as a team to get better at what we do. I feel like we've done that. Also, to heal up was a big factor, and today will be the first day that we'll actually have our entire team go through practice, which is a very positive thing moving forward with that. Playing Ole Miss, they're a very talented team, offensively and defensively. They're one of the programs on the rise. It's good that we're playing at home, and our last home game, Mississippi State, the crowd was a huge factor, and we're going to need that same energy and passion right there. But our guys are excited about the game. They're excited to be playing at home.
Questions?
Gus, can you talk about your relationship with Coach Freeze and kind of where that started and how much that means to you?
Yeah, he's definitely a friend, one of my best friends in this business. We came from a similar background, a similar path. He's very talented. He's good at what he does, and he's a great communicator and a very good, football mind.
I'm sure you don't think about it a lot, but just how strange is it that, he thought about maybe trying to follow in your footsteps at Shiloh Christian, and then you end up following him at Arkansas State. Now you guys are SEC.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that before. That we feel very blessed to be doing what we're doing. He's good at what he does, and he's good at what he does, and he's earned the right to be where he's at.
You guys feel kind of some pride there, knowing that your roots and coming through, and kind of maybe opening the door, so to speak, further.
Yeah, I think that we were two guys blessed enough to have the opportunity, given the opportunity to come from high school to college, and the high school guys in college football stick together, and there's a group of us guys that definitely stick together, compare notes and stuff like that. Now that we're in the same conference, obviously it's a little bit different, but we still have a very good relationship, outside of football.
Who do you think Chad Morris is rooting for? He says he's going to DVR the game.
I don't know. That's a good question. Okay.
What does it mean to you to kind of be among that group of coaches that have kind of worked their way up through the system? I mean, there are a lot of coaches that come in, straight from the NFL to college and stuff like that. So.
Well, first of all, I feel very blessed to be doing what I'm doing, just for the fact that I was given the opportunity. There's a lot of great high school coaches out there that could be very successful in college that just hadn't had the opportunity. And, me and you have talked about that numerous times, that we feel blessed that we were given the opportunity.
Because you said that this is a situation where the first week where you're going to be fully healthy. Does that mean Jeff Whitaker, Jonathan Jones, Chris Davis?
We're planning on everybody to be out there.
So Jeff, that includes Jeff and Chris?
Everyone is what we're planning on being out there. Thank you.
Have you talked to Coach Freeze this week leading up to this game?
What's that?
Have you talked to Coach Freeze leading up to this game?
I think he texted me the other day, and we text back, but,
Gus, what does it say for the SEC or college football that they'll give chances to guys who maybe not necessarily come up through the ranks? Is it more about if you can win and have success, then you'll get your shot?
Yeah, I think, once you get into college football, if you have success, you can move up if you're in the right situation, the right time, like I've been, and the right people around you. But like I said earlier, I think it's just a big deal that, we feel blessed that we were given the opportunity, and we're fortunate enough to be around some good coaches and some good players to help us get to where we're at.
What's the similarities or differences between your offense? I think a lot of people put those in the same pot. Are they? Yeah,
we're similar as far as pace and tempo and all that. Going to Arkansas State following you, it was a pretty easy transition, offensively, that they at least had a base foundation. And, we've shared ideas. We've shared offensive ideas over the years. And I've taken some of his stuff. He's taken some of our stuff, so there's some similarities.
How does that make it difficult kind of going into this week? I mean, you even said earlier that you're probably planning for some, tweaks and changes just because he probably knows a lot of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's every week. I mean, it just depends. Every situation is different, and you just got to schematically try to give your team the best chance of being successul with what they're trying to take away. And as a game gets going on, you kind of learn more that goes on through the quarters.
You talked about the bye week, finding your strengths. I think it was about this time last year when you guys really kind of started rolling a little bit at Arkansas State. Is that kind of the expectation here, that everybody should be on the same page?
Yeah, you know, that's definitely our hope. The fact that we're able to remove ourselves from the weekly grind of trying to scheme up someone and all that, we can sit back and just really get good at what we feel like we need to get good at, get more reps. I mean, obviously, it had to help our quarterback to slow down and kind of, you know, really focus on some things that we feel like, you know, we could be strong in, and really defensively the same thing. And then, you know, we have a lot of information about our personnel, and so we got a good plan, you know, in both areas. We feel like moving forward for the rest of the season.
What stands out about Ole Miss defense when you watch them on film?
They got a lot of speed. They play very aggressive. I'm very impressed with their front four. I'm impressed with their linebackers, and their secondary guys can really run. And you know, last Saturday they did a very good job.
You can't tell people's classification next to their names when you're watching film, but they've got a lot of freshmen making an impact, including Vici. What's your impressions on those guys? Laquan Treadwell, Vici?
Yeah, I think they're talented players, and they're kind of like us with some of our young guys. I mean, I think that you'll see those guys get better each game as they get more familiar with, you know, the offense and defense and this league.
What's it say about guys for both teams, the freshmen that come in and play in the SEC level?
Well, I think it says, you know, that you know, myself and you, we're not scared to play freshmen right off the bat. You know, especially they're talented enough. And so you'll see quite a few on both sides.
The way the schedule's setting up for October, you get 3 home games, 2 games in there that on paper look like it could be easy wins, or at least where you guys could have success. How big is this month for you guys, especially starting off with a swing game kind of against Ole Miss?
Yeah, this month's very critical. Of course, playing at home is a big deal for us, especially with, you know, our team right now where we're at. I think it's very important that we have, you know, home games this month, and that should help.
Do you guys put any extra emphasis on this game because it is the first one, and because if you win this and then you get 2 other this month, you're already bowl eligible?
Yeah, well, you know, we're just taking it one game at a time. You know, we're just focused on each week. Each week, you know, we're not taking anything for granted. They're very important as we're building this thing, and we understand this is a big game. But you know, we're playing at home and playing against a very, very good opponent. So, you know, but we're not thinking ahead, put it that way.
When you break down Ole Miss, I know you might use a variety of games, but what did you take away from seeing them against Alabama that could help you this week?
You know, you try to, each game you try to gather information, and you know, certain teams you take away more than others for certain games, but you know, they played extremely hard against Alabama. I mean, extremely hard, and you know, that's kind of what I took away from that.
Yes, the offenses, especially the 2 big up-tempo offenses, you and Ole Miss, both kind of statistically underachieving, you know, lower spectrum of in the standings. So, I guess, what do you attribute to that? The early.
Are you talking about the points you already?
Yeah,
talking about pace?
Basically stat, pace, and all that. I mean, it's just you're pretty much you know, bottom half.
Yeah.
In the
Well, speaking for us, I mean, you know, we're a work in progress, like I've said before, offensively, and our goal is to improve each week. And you know, for the most part, besides a half or so, we've done that, but that's to be expected with a young quarterback as far as that goes. But as far as pace, you know, I think, like I said last week, I think you'll see more and more. We'll get better at that. Obviously, getting first downs. You know, we're towards the bottom in our league in first downs, and that's kind of what stands out to me. If we can cure that, I think they'll take care of a lot of things.
Yes, you faced talented defensive lines already, but with particularly Robert Vici and his versatility, I know they moved him inside last week. How do you prepare for a guy like that? Is he the most difficult personnel matchup that you've faced along the line thus far?
Well, first of all, we think he's very talented, and he has played inside and outside, but we're also very impressed with the other 3 guys they have out there, too. You know, sometimes they get overlooked, but they're very talented, and they're long and fast up front.
The 2 Ryans, the seniors, Ryan White and Ryan Smith, didn't play a whole lot last year, but they're big parts of what you're doing. Can you talk about those guys?
We've been very proud of both those guys, the way they performed on the field, their leadership. You know, they bought into what our coaches have asked them to do with great attitudes, and really both of them have even stepped up into a leadership role. And You know, I think that's very critical for not only those guys, but really for all of our seniors. You know, we've tried to empower our seniors, and, you know, so far as a group, they've done a solid job.
Gus, getting those injured players back on defense, how much do you think it helps out that side of the ball, and do you see that defense improving over the course of the season?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some big blows defensively as far as injuries goes, and you know, anytime that happens, especially if it's to impact players, and some of them are definitely impact players, you've got to kind of mix and match, and so hopefully we'll stay healthier moving forward, and we get some stability, and you know, and improve, and I think that you know, will be a big factor moving forward.
Mike Harrell's a guy that's got some pass rushing ability. Is he somebody that can help him pretty quickly?
That's a possibility. You know, he's out there and he's getting better.
Has Jeff Whitaker practiced at all?
No.
What about Trey Mason? How impressive have you been with the way he's been running the ball, especially against LSU, even when you guys are down 21-0?
Right. He you know, he made some real hard yards, and we, you know, Coach Horton's always talking about yards after contact, and you know, I think close to half his yards were, and I think that's important moving forward, breaking tackles, you know, making people miss, and he did a solid job of that against LSU.
Really, the ball security with him. I know, you know, he's had some struggles with fumbles this season, last season. What do you guys?
Well, we got to cure it, and you know, that was a big point of emphasis last week. Ball security, protecting the ball, because we can't afford, you know, to put the ball on the ground.
What's your assessment of Bo Wallace, and what's your single most greatest concern about Ole Miss's offense?
Well, I think he's, first of all, I think he's a very good quarterback. I think he can make all the throws. I think he's very nifty as a runner, especially inside. You know, he's very good with the inside zone. He's very good with their speed sweep read, finding cracks, and he's a tough guy. I know Hugh's got a lot of confidence in him, and you know, he's got confidence he'll call anything. And so he's a very good quarterback.
Is that one of the biggest concerns, just defensively? So it seems that any quarterback that's able to do anything, when things break down, they've been able to pick up a lot of yards against you on the ground.
Yeah, but we've got to do a better job containing him, there's no doubt. But he's a very nifty and talented guy, you know, especially running. He's faster than you think he is, and he's like a running back, you know, in the box.
Gus, you mentioned the emphasis put on ball security during the off week. When Rhett was there Sunday, he said the ball security is as bad as he can ever remember since you guys have been here. Is there anything you can attribute that to? Any reason for that?
Well, we got to do a better job emphasizing it, coaching it, and we've really turned up the heat in that area, and that's an area that's got to improve. And it's been glaring. There's been balls on the ground that we actually got back, and so that was a big point of emphasis last week, and it'll be a point of emphasis moving forward.
If you get Chris Davis back this week, you going to put that punt return, or?
We'll see how he does this week.
How much has Trey's game changed from the player you kind of used as a freshman?
Well, he was, you know, as a freshman, what stands out to me is he's a tough guy. He'd be willing to do anything. He had a great attitude. He still has a great attitude. He's just a more veteran guy. He understands the big picture. He doesn't just know what he does, but he understands why we do stuff and the adjustments we'll make. And I think, you know, that just comes with experience.
You said that he texted you Sunday and said, "I don't enjoy playing my friends." What's the most difficult part about coaching against a close friend like that?
Well, I mean, you just, you know, you got a job to do, and you know, you got to do whatever's best to help your team win. After the game, you know, we'll get back to normal. But this is a big game for both of us, and we both understand that. And like I said, after the game, we'll go back to normal.
Gus, back to Trey for a minute. When you looked over things last week, given his production, everything coming up the LSU game, there's a discussion about whether or not he can get more carries and be that career guy. As you looked over things last week, is he going to be in that role, or are you looking to be still in a split with him and Cameron?
Well, you know, we got 3 running backs we feel very good about, and they're all 3 different. We'll utilize them at you know, what we feel like their strengths are. But we're definitely happy with Trey. We're happy with Cameron and Corey too. And so we'll just week to week, you know, we'll see what they're giving us. And week to week could be a little different.
Just your overall evaluation of Holsey and, you know, having to move back and forth in the spring and what he's doing now.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a big part of what we're doing. We're asking him to do a whole lot. You know, he started at corner, now he's a safety. plays some nickel. He's just a football player. He's very valuable to what we're doing. And he's a real intelligent kid too. I mean, he's got really good football instincts.
Coach, Ole Miss has a very strong defense, a lot of tackles for losses. How much reliance will stay on our running game, knowing the intensity of that defense?
Well, you know, we're gonna need to be able to run the football to be successful. But that definitely is a concern. They have had a lot of negative plays, and that's something that we talked about and we're focusing on. And that'll definitely be a challenge.
Gus, you brought up last week that Brandon Foltz and Melvin Ray would kind of be the guys you're looking at to replace Jalen. Did they continue to do that during practice?
Yeah, I think so. Both those guys got reps at that position and feel comfortable. And so that's been good.
Gus, can you talk about Corey Grant real quick? Is he getting better?
Yeah, he is. Had a good week of practice last week. We expect him to be ready to go.
Were there any kind of changes personnel-wise going forward? I know y'all evaluated individuals along a scheme. Did you kind of make any big changes there?
Well, I mean, we evaluate everything, and you know, we try to get a plan moving forward that gives us the best chance of being successful and the best chance of improving each week. And so Saturday, there you could see a few little tweaks and all that, but that's the plan we have moving forward.
Coach Freese said that they had some trouble communicating at Alabama because of the crowd noise. I know you mentioned earlier about how important it is, but how important is it in this game?
Oh, it's very critical. You know, we got the best fans in college football, and that atmosphere, you know, especially in the fourth quarter against Mississippi State, was second to none, and we'll need 4 quarters of that, and that'll be a huge advantage for us with our crowd.
What's the biggest thing Nick got out of the crowd?
You know, hopefully a chance to catch his breath, to get better at the foundation runs and passes, just what we do, and feel more comfortable. I think that was our biggest concern. We try not to add a whole bunch of stuff, just try to zero in with the information we had on what we felt like his strengths are.